Yo, 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 Big Kish back up in here. Y'all ready for some more content, man? Y'all ready for some more content, man? This video is done by LaWaster. Y'all know how he come with it. You know what I mean? It's called Drake Has a Sensitivity Problem. And we about to go over it, man. I ain't gonna do too much stopping. This is a long video. I might break it down into two, or I just might react to half of it. But we're gonna see how it go. You know what I mean? Without further ado, I know I don't like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Drake has always been known to get in his feelings from time to time. It was the source of millions of memes during the early part of his career and has always been seen as part of his identity. But now, it seems that the emotional rawness is mutating into something darker, and in the wake of his defeat in the beef with Kendrick Lamar, it's got him acting out in ways that might result in permanent damage to both the public's perception of him and his legacy as a whole. Because at this point, he's starting to look like a sore loser. It's your boy LaWaster, and this is why Drake has a sensitivity problem. Once Not Like Us was released, Drake seemed intent on downplaying the effects that song's success had on him. He claimed on The Heart Part 6 that the whole exchange was a quote-unquote good exercise, even as a song that called him a PDF file beat his streaming records for the most streams of a hip-hop track in a single day on Spotify and the fastest to reach 100 million streams. Within the blink of an eye, people he thought were his allies like YG and Billie Eilish were dancing to the track, and it was even getting played at elementary school birthday parties. So he tried to take it on his terms, rapping over the BBL Drizzy beat on a Sexy Red track and keeping it lighthearted on social media. At the time, the word from his camp was that he was taking the whole thing in stride. During an appearance on the Flagrant 2 podcast, Lil Yachty saluted Drake for how unbothered he was about it all.
He didn't give a
Really?
No, he was genuinely unfazed. I respected it a lot, and I talked to him. That shit didn't bother him. So I never saw him down, ever. I never saw him kicking his fucking foot, holding his head down. You know? And then to a point where I just stopped talking to him about it because I felt like I was the one bringing.
Hey, the interviewer was like, really? He was looking at him like, yeah, right.
Him the negativity. Like.
But as much as they tried, it looks like people are seeing through the facade and just think the response verifies everything K-Dot said. Kendrick literally thought of everything in Euphoria, even down to Yachty being the one having to do the press run saying Drake wasn't upset. Ultimately, all of this is just words. It's actions that matter when determining how Drake is coping with the very public defeat at the hands of a longtime enemy. And in those actions, we see that Drake isn't just struggling to handle it well, but also that his behavior follows a long-standing pattern of pettiness and immaturity that's been evident for years. Right. First things first, let's look at the cancellation of TDE affiliate artists in Toronto. After Kendrick's pop-out show and Not Like Us video in which most of the West Coast descended to support him, it seems like Drake has decided to take a zero-tolerance approach to those involved. It all began when Schoolboy Q, who is signed to TDE, was supposed to perform in his hometown of Toronto. Just hours before the show, Q broke the news on X to his fans. They just canceled my show in Toronto. Canadian police don't want nobody from TDE performing. Note that initially, he put the blame on the cops, but in the very next post, he seemed to suggest that there was maybe someone else pulling the strings and that it might come from Drake's camp, while at the same time issuing stern warnings that he wasn't to be played with. Top was just with Wayne and Baby. Party Next Door just had a show at the Palladium. If we wanted to get y'all, we would have done it. Now, when somebody gets hurt, don't cry. When a fan tried to claim that Schoolboy Q got Rick Rossed, referring to a recent event that we'll also discuss later in this video, Schoolboy Q said, "I don't think you know who I am." In fact, I don't think a lot of you know who I am. If this happened just once, it might have been a coincidence. But the same thing was about to happen to TDE's male R&B star, Sir. So sorry to my Toronto fans. The show has been canceled. We're working to reschedule for a later date.
Oh, I ain't hear about this. I don't even know who Sir is. I gotta check him out, yo.
Once again, Schoolboy Q was in disbelief. Ha 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 ha. Take your ass home, boy. Sing on the bus, it's over with. But while it was hard for some to believe that it would be possible for Drake to pull strings like that, a little digging would reveal that the venue which both artists were meant to play is owned by Drake and Live Nation. Although Drizzy fans have attempted to downplay his involvement in history, the venue was promoted as his project from the very beginning in all of the press coverage. In fact, an article from Toronto Life titled "A Look Inside History, Drake's much-hyped East End concert venue" provided a behind-the-scenes look, which revealed that the venue's artwork is pulled from Drake's own personal collection. Throughout the venue, there are high school photos of Drake, tour set lists, signed Godfather posters, and portraits of Aaliyah and Virgil Abloh. With that kind of involvement in the space, and the shows likely being booked before the beef kicked off, it's entirely possible that Drake had a hand in preventing the shows from happening. Plus, it's not exactly hard to believe that I call—
You know what I find funny? Every action Drake takes, there's always some proof or evidence lurking around the corner. Everything we say that he's done, there's some proof to back it up. But when you arguing with a Drake fan, the stuff that they be saying, like, they never have any evidence for nothing. This is wild work, man.
All like this was made from a man who allegedly filed a cease and desist for Like That to prevent radio airplay, with possible recipients even surfacing in the form of leaked emails. And let's not forget, this is an individual who also reportedly entered streamer Trainwreck's chat to contest Kendrick's numbers for Not Like Us, as opposed to accepting the song had captivated the masses. Hey, can we take it back to 2022? Can you backdoor Eddie like Spotify backdoored the streams for that one song from that one guy? Said Drake in the chat. All in all, the conduct that he's done in plain sight and what he's allegedly done behind the one song from that one guy, said Drake in the chat. All in all, the conduct that he's done in plain sight and what he's allegedly done behind the scenes means that a lot of people feel that everything Yachty said about him taking it to the chin is complete cap. His fans want him to believe that he's unbothered, and they are lying to themselves. He's such a sore loser. We see Kendrick entirely unbothered and off social media, while the other is voting on fan polls and proving Kendrick's lyrics right each day. Left facing the greatest opposition of his life, Drake's team is likely learning that the way he's attempting to cope with the fallout from K-Dot's victory over him isn't doing him any favors. The real issue is that if you look back at Drake's recent behavior, there are growing signs of a volatile temperament. He's been losing his cool more often than not, acting childishly, and at times even embarrassing himself. If you have followed Drake's career closely, you'll know that he hasn't exactly been afraid to engage in petty behavior to mock his doubters and enemies. From giving Meek Mill a participation trophy for Wanna Know at OVO Fest, to dissing Kid Cudi when the man was literally in rehab, Drake has shown that anyone who has the nerve to challenge him might have to face the consequences. But where people like Cudi and Meek actively dissed him, the Drake of the past few years has gotten touchy to the point that he won't even accept criticism. Back when he released his album For All the Dogs, one man who had some reservations about the project was his former enemy Joe Budden. We documented the whole beef in a separate video and explained that since then, the two appeared to squash the beef. However, when Joe simply stated that he wanted to hear a bit more maturity from Drake after hearing the project,
Hey, how many of y'all heard them Joe Budden disses towards Drake? Joe Buttons is fire, bro. Don't sleep on Joe, man. Telling you.
it sparked another conflict between them.
This is like he rapping for the children. Yo, dog, I had to look up how old this was when I finished listening to the album. You are 36. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that too. You will be 37 years old. Get the fuck away from some of these younger niggas and stop fucking these 25-year-olds. I'm want to hear adult Drake rapping for adult people.
No, you're not gonna hear that.
That's my issue with him today.
You're not gonna hear that.
He rapping for the kids, the streams, the
Instagram comments, the algorithm.
He's too tied up into social media and the internet. He's too tied up in it.
I'm rapping for this.
No, he ain't really rapping. He ain't trying to rap in it.
No.
Yeah, I just think I miss the Drake that was rapping for the rappers. I miss the Drake that when he dropped, the rappers hit him. Not these little fucking kids. I don't give a fuck about you and Kai Cenat. That's gonna sound like, hey, go find some niggas your fucking age. Hang out with them. Get some of that sauce. These kids.
Instead of acknowledging that Joe maybe had a point, Drake responded by flaunting his wealth. You left music behind to do what you're doing in this clip because this is what actually pays your bills. You switched careers because the things that pop into your brain had you broke, living check to check. And the raps you wrote had 450 men showing up to your shows in Dusty and Nietzsche jeans to screw up their face to Mood Music 29 and pretend you are the GOAT. Please, to any artist that's doing what they feel is right, don't let these opinions affect your mindset after the fact. This guy is a poster child of frustration and surrendering. If you need to put it in simpler terms, Drizzy concluded, I own a 767. He owns a modest house in the 973 and flies first class on special occasions.
Bruh, you're up if you have a car. If you have a car and an apartment, you up. Don't listen to that, oh, I got a Maybach. Oh, I got the Balenciaga. Don't be trying to look. Don't be trying to do that. Don't be following that, because really you putting money in other nations' pockets for them to keep enslaving you. That's what that is. Stop feeding your enslavement, man. Stop getting into that, man, for real, because you could be paying for you being enslaved. Let's go.
From there, it just continued to get worse, with Drake sliding into Joe's DMs to make it clear that although his feelings were clearly hurt,
we're gonna fast forward some of this. We know about all this, for real. Let's see what we talking about at the end.
Own your shit. To name just Kendrick, that shit made me feel funny. No, in that case, you robbed everybody. We all need text messages. On the other hand, Kendrick Lamar dealt with the situation graciously, even suggesting that Macklemore didn't need to do it whatsoever. Across several interviews, K-Dot said that the heist rapper had nothing to apologize for. It's well deserved, he told XXL. He did what he did, man. He went out there and hustled and grinded. Everything happens for a reason. Has morphed into today. As a result, people now feel the fame has changed Drizzy for the worse. This Drake should have stayed. Drake was much more authentic here. People could clown him for being soft or uncool or whatever, but at least he was being real to himself.
Yeah, that's the video, man. I can't. We already know about all this stuff. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. He's done. Now it's starting to. It's settling in now. It's really settling in. This guy's finished, man. This guy is finished. We're about to go review some Super Bowl stuff and what Lil Wayne, his response and all that. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to get it? All right, y'all come right back. I'm about to go. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, man.